Strong looks different for each of us, and it's time to put focus on our unique journeys that get us there. This space, created weekly, is for athletes to improve their mindset in order to better navigate challenges that come up in sport and in different seasons of life. On this show, we ask the questions that lead to better answers and have the conversations that truly matter. This is the Becoming Your Strong podcast. Hey, you guys. Welcome back to another episode of the Becoming Your Strong podcast. You just get me today. No guest interview today. I'm really hoping that each and every one of you enjoyed the guest series. If you haven't had a chance to go back and listen to them, please do. My goal moving into the new year is to definitely get another stellar lineup for everyone, just people within the hybrid racing space or anyone for that matter that really fits along the line of us stepping into the best versions of ourselves, finding our strong each and every day throughout the seasons of life that we're navigating. I am here for any recommendations and people that you guys would like to hear on the podcast. So please be sure to send that feedback along. But like I said, today is just going to be an episode with me. And I felt that this was appropriate moving into the brand new year to just talk about like where my headspace is at, because there's been some really big moments for me. And that's where I want to start, is with the Becoming Your Strong moment of the week, which I'm going to just say it's just the Becoming Your Strong moment of the year. It's just been my year in general. Like, I had no idea that when I changed this podcast from Taco About It Tuesday to Becoming Your Strong, that like I was going to have to lean into this space that I get every single week with you guys so hard. This was such an awesome and challenging year all at the same time, where I faced some of my biggest fears yet, and I came out on the other side okay. And I'm still kicking, and honestly, a lot of people would say that I'm blooming and I'm thriving. And I would agree with that, but my goodness, like it has been a year that I did not expect, a year of new beginnings, of unexpected endings. And here I am looking at this new year, which for me, at the end of the day, it is just another day. But it's a chance, it's an opportunity to check in and reframe my mindset and make sure that I'm showing up the way that I want, and I'm navigating towards the outcomes that I truly desire. It's just a good opportunity for us to just pause for a second and really dig in on that. And so that's what I wanted to make the podcast about today, was just, again, my mindset moving into this new year. And I titled this 2026, The Year of Choosing Me. And I want to give you some preface on why I've done this and why I'm talking about this. But this last Sunday, I made a post that I think just so accurately explains just like what's going on in my life right now, and my just the feedback that I'm getting from friends and family. But I'm getting this from so many people that I just look happier, and that they feel like they're genuinely getting to know me, and they just see me like blooming so hard right now in the best way. And so I made a post where it says, "You look so much happier," in quotations. And then I followed it with, "I am." I started choosing myself instead of waiting for other people to choose me. And I wanted to take a moment to share the background on all of this, because this was a really powerful moment that I've had over the last 2 weeks that I'm hoping will strike a chord with some of you. But I went on a hike with my pups a couple weeks ago, and I was sitting in the car on the way to the area that I was going to be hiking. And I don't remember if it was the song that came on or just a thought, but just all of a sudden, I just started thinking about how much I've been through this year. Like, just realizing how strong I am and how proud of myself that I am for navigating the things that I had to navigate, for better, for worse. And I just started to cry, like not like sobbing, but just like the sweet, like tears that just run down your face. And I just felt it all. I just sat there and I felt it all. And I'll be honest, the hardest thing of this year was the ending of a relationship that I quite honestly thought was going to last for a very long time. If not, I thought that this person was going to be my lifelong partner. And I sat with that because I realized that there's still parts of me that are healing from that. I feel so good in the direction that I'm going, and that, not that I'm like, I'm over it, see you later, like everything's fine, but I feel like I'm moving in such a great direction. And I asked myself this question of, why is it so important for me to like find the one? Why do I feel this need to find the person that I'm going to spend the rest of my life with? Because over the last year or two, it's felt really strong. And then when the relationship ended, it felt really, really strong. But I knew at that moment in time, like, I can't jump into anything new. I need to give myself a chance to heal. Like, clearly, there's always a reason. There's always a lesson to learn. And I need to sit here and I need to figure it out. I need to feel, because otherwise I'm just going to continue to get the same results over and over and over again. And this is part of me learning and growing. And so I asked myself that question, and my gut reaction, I kid you not, that I said was, because I've never felt chosen before in my life. I've never felt like someone has genuinely chose me. I've come from several years of abandonment, never from like my family. My family has been great. But just from me growing up through middle school and high school and even through college, and I'd say, gosh, into my corporate career, I was always left out. I was bullied. I was like, just never asked, like, are you okay? Do you need anything? Like, I was just the person that felt so isolated. And I don't mean to make this a sob story, but from my perspective, like, I was the girl eating her lunch alone in the teacher's classroom because that is the only place that I felt safe. That is what I grew up with, folks. And so for me, when you have that experience and then you're in a competitive sport, I was a competitive dancer for 12 to 15 years of my life, and I literally paid, well, I guess I didn't pay. My mom paid. My mom and dad paid. But we literally paid to have me be judged on a stage, to be compared and plotted against other people, and for me to be told all the reasons why I wasn't good enough. In my dance classes, I was always the one that was struggling. I was always the one that was never good enough. And I had to fight tooth and nail to be noticed and to be accepted, to be wanted to be a part of the team. This is the inner child that I have had screaming and crying and trying to heal over the last several years of my life, that I've never actually given a chance to heal. But I did this year, and I started doing therapy. And it's been a wonderful experience, and I recommend it for anyone that's looking to maybe figure out why they keep running to the same outcomes in their life, or they just feel like something is off. Like, even if they don't, having someone, a third party, to talk to about anything in life is so helpful. But I've been able to pull all of this information that I'm telling you guys out of me through the last 3 to 6 months. I can't even remember how long it's been now. It feels like it's been forever because I've loved it and I've lived in the process of it. But it's pulled all of this out of me. And I now to the point where I'm asking myself on my own these really deep questions that are giving me these answers that mean so much. And when I pulled that, I've never felt chosen in my life out of me, I was like, whoa. And I brought that information to my next therapy session, and I told her this, and I said, now I'm sitting here thinking about how I'm trying to get this inner child to trust me, to say, hey, it's okay to heal from this. This is no longer your truth. Here's all the wisdom that I have. Come join me in this new perspective. No wonder she hasn't felt safe to take my hand and to trust this new wisdom adult that sees all these things, that knows the real truth, that part of me. No wonder, because I have not freaking chosen myself yet. I have not chosen myself yet because I have been waiting for someone else to choose me, to validate that I am worth being chosen. And that was a big deal for me, to be like, I have to admit that I still don't choose myself fully. And if I ever want to again seek the outcomes in my life, not just from like finding the one in a relationship, but just anything that I desire in my life, from career to personal. Like I have to address this full on, and I have to genuinely want to choose myself. And I'm in that space now to do that. And now that I'm on that path of doing that, like, I know how hard this is going to be. It's not going to be easy, because I still find myself getting into those moments of like, oh, am I doing this for other people or am I doing this for me? But that's the beautiful thing, right? Is I'm able to stop and reflect and become aware of, who am I actually doing this for? And again, that's just a testament to all the work that I've been doing over the last couple of months within therapy, and just being able to come to ask myself these questions. But all that to say, like, 2025 was the year of being able to overcome fear, like facing the fears of like being alone and having to be alone again, for the first time in a couple of years, like having to move out of the house and into my own apartment, into a place where all of my friends are 45 minutes south of me. Like, I have like my work up here, but I have no like people that I just can call on the weekend and go down the road to and say like, hey, let's hang out. Like, I had to face so many fears of being alone once again. And I did that. So I would say, like, honestly, like 2025 was the year of freaking courage. 2026 is going to be the year of choosing me. And again, I don't want to do this just so that I can seek certain outcomes. I want to do it because if I finally choose me, then I don't need anyone else to. really don't. Friends, family, relationships. And I'm not saying this to be like, I don't need anyone. Of course, I want to have life full of connections and beautiful relationships, but I don't need anyone else to choose me because I've already chose myself, and I feel so grounded in that. I feel so whole in that. And anything else that comes to me in my life, that's a bonus. But I don't need that to survive, to be happy, to live, to be present, because I have myself. So that's why this is so important to me. So I'm taking this final episode of the year to not only just share that story in hopes that it resonates with some of you, but to also talk about the first steps in my journey of doing this and the questions that I'm asking myself as I head into 2026 to really make progress on this part of me that's been so ready to heal, but I just haven't really given it the space to. So I recommend, I know probably some of you are maybe working out or listening on a long car drive, but at some point come back to this point in the episode and write these questions down and just journal on them. And it might not be all at once. Maybe you take a question at a time. But these questions I really picked methodically, not just for myself, but for the people's ears that are listening right now, because I know that they're going to make a massive impact if really intentionally thought about. So the first one was, what was the biggest fear that I faced, and what did I ultimately learn from it? Like I mentioned, like this last year was all about facing my fears. And this question paints a picture of not only can you do hard things, but that you have your own back through it. And no matter what, you survived 100% of your hardest days, 100% of them. You're still here kicking, breathing, standing. You might be on your knees a little bit. You might be a little roughed up, but you're still here. You made it through 100% of your hardest days. So again, just asking yourself, what is the biggest fear and what are the lessons that you learn from it? It's also figuring out like, wow, like not only am I like a badass and I'm strong as shit, but that wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. The picture that I painted, the story that I told myself of how bad it would be, it actually wasn't that bad. And I can go through that again. I know that I can trust myself to have my own back to go through that again if need be. So therefore, I don't need to make that a fear anymore. That's now just a skill and ability that I have. Take the time to congratulate yourself for that. But again, to even learn the lesson, that's the big part of this question is, what lesson did it ultimately teach me? I had to go through the fear of being what felt like I was being abandoned again. I had to go through that again, face that head on to show myself that I had my own back and that I needed to choose myself. I needed to learn that lesson. And now here I am embarking on everything that that lesson has given me. The second question to ask yourself is, if you knew that you couldn't upset anyone or have any sort of uncomfortable confrontation, what boundaries would you set that would protect your peace? Your gut reaction, like that answer that you get right away to this question, is what you need to do right now, is the boundary that you need to set right here, right now. And I'm going to tell you this, it's probably going to piss some people off, and it's going to be terrifying to communicate. But if there's anything that I've learned as someone that is a habitual people pleaser, that will put other people before themselves, again, because she just wants to feel loved and accepted and worthy, I had to realize that I had no boundaries. I needed to set them quickly. And guys, I'm talking about anything from boundaries around your time to boundaries around who you spend certain things, moments, who's in your circle, right? Like, who are you spending your time with? Anything. For me, it started off with, I'm not going to work both days on the weekend. Yes, I live 10 minutes down the road and I can get there in a jiffy, but I'm going to create a boundary that I'm not going to work one day during the weekend to give myself a total rest day off to just be with myself, right? And that's as small as it can start, but that small beginning leads to really massive and impactful continuance of things, right? So what boundaries, or what is at least the one boundary that if you were to set it, it would protect your peace? Because once you live in that peace, oh my gosh, things clear right on up for you. You're able to see clearly. You're able to act clearly. It's almost like the brain fog has been removed. So what is that boundary? The next one, what does the most playful version of you look like? What does she or he do? I love this question because this is all about getting to explore who we really are. Not what other people around us like and we've come to like because of association with them, but who we really are. What do we love? What do we not love? What lights our heart on fire? This also highlights something that I've been trying to stay really consistent with, which is taking ourselves on dates, daily or weekly dates, whatever that looks like. For me, it's been more of a weekly date. I was actually really proud of myself that a couple weeks ago, I had a date with myself, and everyone that I was talking to, like, while it would have been nice to, chat with them throughout the evening and whatever, I just said, nope, like, I need to be alone. I need to do this alone. I don't need the attention. I don't need the love. Like, I need the love and attention from myself. And so I turned my phone on Do Not Disturb and told all the people, hey, have a great rest of your day. Like, I'm going to be with myself. And I'll maybe talk to you, tomorrow or the next couple of days. And that was really awesome for me. So this, you guys, is all about making life happen for ourselves rather than waiting for someone to help us make these things happen. And that, as someone who is single, is really important for me to iterate and to hear that it would be nice to one day have a home and to start that home with someone else. It would be so much nicer to go on camping trips with other people. It would be so awesome to go and travel the world with other people, with that significant other, and take those really cute, cheesy pictures. But you know what? If I sit there and I wait for those moments to happen until I find those people to do those with me, you know how many years are going to probably go by, how much time I've wasted. And the last thing that I want to do at the end of this life is regret that I waited. When, the best company, the most important relationship I could ever have is the one sitting right here, and it's the one with myself. I can go and do any of those things with myself right now if I really wanted to. So why am I waiting? Why am I holding my breath? Why am I living on the sidelines of my life? I already did that. I did that for like 3 years of my life, being overweight, depressed, lethargic on a couch. Why would I do that to myself emotionally and mentally? Why would I rob myself of that happiness? Again, easier said than done, but what are the things that you've genuinely wanted to make happen, but maybe you've been waiting for other people to do them with you, or you think that you need other people to do them in order for you to be fulfilled, to seek the satisfaction from doing said activity. Those are the things that you should be doing, that you should be working towards, taking yourself on the weekly, daily dates for. All right, second to last question. What question do you need to ask yourself, whether that be at the start of every day or at the end of every day, or maybe it's a separate question that you ask at the start and end of your day, that will put you in the right headspace and celebrate the person that you are becoming? When I got out of my last therapy session, the question that I wrote down was, how did I choose me today? So at the end of every day, I'm asking myself that. As I lay in bed, lights off, dark in the room, getting ready for a wonderful night of slumber, I'm priming myself, my head, to say goodbye to that day by celebrating myself and how I had my own back. And if I didn't have my own back that day, it's not about beating myself up. Again, it's just about becoming aware and learning the lesson. How can I change that for the next day? What lesson did I learn that will help me step into my power tomorrow, right? Those questions are meant to prime the system to look for how life is showing up for us and stay focused on what truly matters. So this is a time to take out the sticky notes and a marker and write, and it could be as many freaking questions as you want, but at least one. Put it on your mirror. So when you wake up in the morning and you go to the bathroom, the first thing you see is that question. And you can start with something productive. Something productive that, again, is going to prime your system to look for how life is showing up for you, to align yourself of, hey, this is how I want to show up today. That stuff is so important. So important. And if you're looking for a book that really aligns with that, I highly recommend that you get The High Five Habit from Mel Robbins. I know that there's been a lot of you asking me about book recommendations. The High Five Habit from Mel Robbins is one of them. Honestly, any of the books from Mel Robbins you do really good with. But that is one that if you're struggling to celebrate yourself, The High Five Habit is it. All right, last question. Who is the version of you that you are dying to become? What does she or he do? And how does this person act? If you were to become this person in 2026, what would that mean to you? This question not only pulls out the actions and the habits that create the version of you that you want to show up as, but it lays the foundational why. Why is doing the work so important? This question is a staple. I ask myself this question multiple times a year. Who is it that I really want to show up as? Whether it's at work with my clients, with my relationships, on the starting line, ask myself that all the time. Because it gets me back into the space of, at the end of the day, the outcomes are things that I can't control, but I can control one thing, and that's my attitude and my effort and how I make myself feel, how I navigate through this current situation or circumstance in my life. I can control those things. I can't control whether or not someone's going to choose me or whether or not they're going to stay. Can't do that. But if I can choose how I show up and I feel really good about that, honestly, not much else matters. It really doesn't. And again, following it with that why, it's going to help you when you're literally curled up in the fetal position and you're trying to self-soothe yourself through some anxiety that you're having. Maybe you were triggered and you're like, this is stupid. I just want to go back to the old ways, the habits, the feeling like I'm not being abandoned. No. You ask yourself, why is the work so important? And you have that reason in your back pocket to pull out during this time. This is the reason why the work is so important, because this is what it means to me. I'm going to leave you with this. I am so proud of you. You have been through so much, yet you still find a way to smile and show up every single day. You might have lost yourself there for a little while, and you might be struggling to find who you are again. But I want to remind you of something very important. You've always found your way back to home, to yourself, every single time. The time away was never permanent, and arguably the break that you had helped you come back a little stronger and a little brighter. Welcome back home, babe. It's good to have you here. Thank you guys so much for showing up for you today. I hope that this episode truly resonated and helps you attack 2026 with all the tools that you need to have another great year. Again, please let me know if there's anyone that you'd like to hear from on the podcast, any topics that you are like really wanting to hear my perspective on. I'm here for that too. And I wish you all a wonderful New Year's celebration. And I will see you guys next year for another episode of Becoming Your Strong. See you then.